So I was really in the zone there. What's up?
Did you hear who AEW signed?
Oh, let me guess. I already know Sting. I mean, we have 25 dark matches a week. Who do we sign? Did someone quit NXT? Who do we sign now?
Dad, Big Show. Paul White?
Welcome everyone to the Talk AEW Podcast. My name is Ricky D, and as you can see, Mariko McDonald is not here this week, which is why I am leading the show. Mariko's moving, but to join me, as always, is Mr. Aaron Santos.
What's up?
And all the way from Kentucky, all the way in the USA, is Mr. Chris Wright.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing today?
What's up, Chris? Welcome to the show for the very first time.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Mariko, we wish you the best of luck with the move, and she will be back next week, in which we will talk about evolution, in which I mean revolution. All right. As always, Aaron, we're going to start with Ricky's rapid fire questions.
All right.
Just a way for us to start the show, pick apart a bit of Dynamite before we get to our two main events. So, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Question number one. Does AEW need more great squash matches like the Rey Fenix and Pac match that we saw on the recent episode of Dynamite?
I'm gonna say no because like that match to me was pointless. It did nothing for the show. It did nothing for the characters.
Yeah, I am a fan of squash matches on occasion, but when it is talents as prolific as Rey Fenix and Pac, it just seems like a waste of talent and a waste of the audience's time because I saw on the preview Pac and Rey Fenix in tag team action. I got excited. When I saw it was a 3-minute jobber squash that led into an Inner Circle promo, my heart sank because I was like, wow, that's it. Not even a promo. And I don't know. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm totally agreeing.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure how I feel because the thing is the match lasted about 2 minutes, and I do think it helped with the pacing.
I don't know about the pacing because we on the card you see like Pac and Rey Fenix and like already hyped up like this is a great duo. Rey Fenix, we all know like how crazy talented he is, and Pac also how crazy talented he is. So we're like expecting like a good, you want to showcase their abilities, right, for a good while, and seeing that like 3-minute match and like they did like a couple of flashy moves, like I don't know, it did nothing for me.
Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on this topic because, like I said, the match lasted about 2 minutes. But I do think that this episode of Dynamite kind of felt like an old episode of the Attitude Era, Monday Night Raw, in which we did have a few squash matches in between the big long matches. And I don't know. I guess for me personally, I think that AEW has way too many long matches on an episode like Dynamite. And I think every so often giving us a squash match isn't such a bad idea.
No, not every once in a while it is fine. But my whole thing is when it comes to a big time talent like those two, and it's just going to be a squash, put it on dark. It won't kill you.
Yeah.
Question number 2. Who do you think Paul White is referring to when he mentioned that AEW is signing a future Hall of Famer and that person will appear on Evolution? Which leads me to my third question. What is Evolution?
It was a treat.
It's a mystery. That's what it is.
No, I was going to refer to Evolution back in WWE.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Evolution is a mystery.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I just got it. That's a good one. Yeah.
As to who Paul was talking to, I want to lean towards saying it's a swerve and he's talking about himself.
No, because he's doing commentary. And the thing is, I thought about this, and it's clearly a huge name for them to make such a big deal about it and have Paul White announce it on his very first appearance on Dynamite. I can tell you right now, all of you people who are dreaming about The Rock and John Cena, you're crazy.
No, that's absolutely not going to happen. And I saw a few people speculating it could be CM Punk. That's
very possible.
It is possible.
It's possible, but I very highly doubt it.
The thing about CM Punk is it feels too good to be true, but I think it's very possible because CM Punk is MIA. Like, apparently he is filming a quote-unquote mystery movie, but he could be training for AEW. To me, CM Punk is a clear possibility.
Yeah.
Cena and The Rock are not possibilities. That's you guys in La La Land dreaming. So,
but at the same time, he said Hall of Fame talent, not Hall of Fame wrestler. So it could be literally anybody.
It could also be which Hall of Fame? Are we talking about NBA? Because you know what I'm saying? Like the thing about Shaq is I'm kind of confused.
Shaq is all elite, confirmed. Yes.
So the thing about Shaquille O'Neal is it can't Shaq already appeared on the program. So regardless if he signed or did not sign any sort of contract where he appears on a regular basis, it's not going to be really a big surprise if the big surprise is Shaquille O'Neal because he just appeared on Dynamite. So it's got to be someone else. So like the Hall of Fame doesn't necessarily mean it's a Hall of Fame of wrestlers, but it's also going to be really stupid if it's not a wrestler because again, they're making a big deal about it on their pay-per-view.
But I mean, wouldn't it be such a Big Show type heel turn if it's just nobody?
Yeah, but he's not a heel. He's a commentator on AEW.
Yeah, exactly. And he could be a heel commentator because he's the Big Show and he has to turn eventually. Plus, he did say, AEW did say in the press release, he is prepping for an in-ring return at some point.
Yeah.
I personally think, or at least maybe I'm hoping it's CM Punk, but I do think it's possible it could be someone like Christian.
That would be fun.
Too. That was a possibility too.
Well, who else could it be? Who can be a future Hall of Famer that's not in the future Hall of Fame that's currently a free agent?
Well, there was a rumor on the internet that it was Enzo and Big Cass. So,
oh God,
that's I know that's what I'm hearing. So,
I feel like they'd be better off in ROH or NWA. I just don't feel like AEW really suits them.
I can see him in ROH.
I'm gonna put my money down on CM Punk. Next question: who is Ryu Mizunami, and did she deserve to win the tournament?
A lot of people that I've been talking to have been saying it's gender bend Kazuchika Okada. And I laughed hysterically when they said that, and it's not exactly that close, but the ring attire does bear a striking resemblance to Okada's. I'm trying to remember, Rio, she had what, 1 or 2 matches total in AEW before the tournament started?
Well, she had a few years ago. Yeah, she had 2 amazing matches with Nyla Rose, and then the pandemic hit.
Right.
I don't want to make too many excuses for AEW. At the same time, I do realize that there is a pandemic, and they do have wrestlers from different countries who live in different territories, and even forget about Japan, even Canada, right, or the UK or Scotland, or whatever. So that's been problematic. When it comes to Riho, look, I think Riho has had 3 of the best women's matches in the history of Dynamite so far. But to be fair, it's only about 2 years old, but still, she's had 3 of the best. I would have preferred to have seen Britt Baker in the finals, Thunder Rosa, Serena Deeb.
Yeah, just
I like her. She's an interesting Japanese wrestler, and it's going to be interesting to see her and Shida. And
at the same time, them having the Japanese side of the tournament, they're not going to fly someone out from Japan to the United States just to job them out.
They could. Tony Khan has a lot of money, but I get what you're saying.
They could, but I don't think their relationship with Stardom would go very well if they tried to do that.
True. Okay. Were you shocked that Nyla Rose lost? I guess the answer is no.
No, for the reasons I just laid out.
Aaron?
I was a little shocked because I didn't expect him to go Ryu Mizunami, considering she's the Japanese talent. I mean, do you want to see Japan versus Japan? But
okay, well, let me ask you this: who did you want to see win the tournament?
Maki Ito.
Yeah, yeah. I think everyone wanted to see Maki Ito win the tournament.
I was shocked that she didn't advance. All right, next question. Why did Jack Evans interfere with the match between Ten and Matt Caster and not Anthony Bowens?
Besides Matt Hardy paying him.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm wondering if he's injured and or if it has something to do with like.
Yeah, they
sport.
confirmed that earlier today. Bowens does have a knee injury that he's dealing with right now.
Okay, all right. Did AEW make a mistake by not putting Moxley and or Kenny Omega in the main event, considering this was a go-home show?
To not feature either of them on the show in any way, shape, or form was a big mistake. I don't think necessarily not having them as the main event was that bad, but the lack of presence in total, I think, is a bit iffy.
I don't know. I didn't have too much of a problem with it because they definitely needed, because aside from like the Kenny Omega and the John Moxley like storyline, like I don't think it needs like any more push than it's already getting. I mean, they got a video package today. I felt like the other storylines definitely needed more of a push. I mean, like the Young Bucks and MJF and Chris Jericho definitely needed to get some more heat into into that match.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, this was a huge episode for AEW Dynamite. They had the first appearance of Shaquille O'Neal, the first appearance of Jade. We're going to talk about them soon. They had the first appearance of Paul White. They had the announcement of some big, huge signing, so on and so forth, etc., etc. The end of
Tully
the
Blanchard in the ring for the first time in 20 years. JJ Dillon appeared. There were the most eyeballs on Dynamite in months, and potentially the most that they will get until the rumor of NXT moving to Tuesdays comes to fruition. This is like the most eyeballs they're going to get on their product. They need to highlight their main event in some way other than a video package from Onita.
Exactly. So all that said, if you're a first-time viewer and you're trying to get people to buy into the PPV and you don't have Kenny Omega and Moxley in this episode, which is the main event of the pay-per-view, and I know they had a video package, but we all know there's a huge difference between a video package and a wrestler in the ring live doing his promo and selling to the audience. I think it was
they did it with Jade Cargill.
She's not in the pay-per-view. Anyways, did AEW mention when the new show will actually premiere?
No.
Am I the only one that thinks that's a mistake? Like, they must know, right? Like, you must know. It's on YouTube. It's not like they have to wait for a television station to give them the green light. You know when it's going to premiere. Why can't you give the date on Dynamite on your biggest show yet?
I don't even think they know what the show is going to be, because literally all they said is AEW Dark Elevation, which means it's a spin-off of Dark, which is a spin-off of Dynamite that features jobber squashes and undercard guys. So what could a spin-off of that really be?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that they know when it's going to premiere, and they should have announced it. Anyhow,
Sure.
So Chris, remember earlier today I was talking to you about how AEW sometimes does things backward when it comes to storytelling, and I just don't understand why. So here's an example. So last week, the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho and MJF attack Papa Buck, the Young Buck's dad. This week, we have this big, huge monologue and speech in which the Young Bucks come out. They talk about how amazing their dad is, the connection to their dad, and et cetera, which gives us, the viewers, an emotional connection to their relationship, makes us understand their relationship, and makes us maybe care about their dad. Why didn't they do this in reverse? Why didn't we have that sort of confrontation before, and then they attack their dad, which makes the viewers care more about the attack? Because when they attacked the dad last week, I really just did not care. It didn't feel like a story. It just felt like something random that happened.
But like a lot of it was like rushed, because like we're talking, we're chatting about it like last week too, like how I felt like the Young Bucks storyline felt, because like you had a couple of weeks ago, you had this sort of storyline where like Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers were not helping them, so it was like it was kind of leaning towards like that side, and then all of a sudden like this MJF and Young Bucks feud that lead into Revolution, like I don't know, it just felt like all rushed to me.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, normally in WCW days and WWE early days, like Attitude, maybe even like WWF days, usually you would have the introduction of the family member, the girlfriend, the dad, the mom, the grandma, whoever, and then it's made clear how important this person is to so-and-so wrestler.
And then you get the heat on them.
Right. Yeah. Then the audience clues in like, oh shit, this person's going to be in trouble. They have a target on their face and it's all this person's fault. It's no different than a typical superhero storyline, right? You got Peter Parker. He does not want anybody to know that he is Spider-Man, because if people find out he's Spider-Man, they will attack Mary Jane, and so on and so forth. His family, his aunt, his uncle, etc., etc. So that's what the WWF used to do back in the days. They would bring in a family member and they would have a target on their forehead, and eventually the heel would attack, again, in this case, the dad. But we would feel sorry for the dad. We would root for the good guys and root against the bad guys. This is what AEW does completely in the opposite of every wrestling promotion in the world, past, present, where they seem to not understand how to tell the story as good as they could when it comes to the heels and the feuds and the baby faces. And I just find it really confusing because it's not very complicated. All I'm asking them to do is just reverse it. Do this week and do this the following week instead. Anyhow.
In my opinion, it feels like they tried to rush about or cram about 2 or 3 months of television into about 3 weeks.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And
that's what I felt like.
And you can't be doing that when you're trying to, get people's eyes on your product, because it becomes this sort of crash TV situation like in the Attitude Era, where once that storyline lets off or that pace of storytelling leans off, the people that are there to see those segments are just sort of going to be disinterested. And also getting heat by assaulting a 65-year-old man, that's just played out and boring in my opinion.
Last week I asked, one of my questions was, how many senior citizens can get beat up on an episode of Dynamite before it's too much?
Does Shaq count? Him, Tully to an extent, Papa
Shaq's
Buck.
He's below 60. Let's be fair. He's not a senior citizen. Neither is Paul White. Okay, so to wrap up Ricky's rapid fire questions, AEW Dynamite cruised to victory in the head-to-head Wednesday Night Wars amid Shaq's AEW premiere with glowing reviews and incredible ratings. I think it had an average viewership of 934,000, up 12.4% from the previous week. So they almost hit 1 million viewers. When, if ever, will AEW reach 1 million viewers? Dynamite.
The week NXT moves to Tuesday.
That was my next question.
The second NXT moves to Tuesday, that's it. War's over. Everyone can go back to watching both shows if they want to, and everything's right with the world.
Okay, so NXT's reported move from a Wednesday broadcast to a Tuesday show is apparently a done deal. Apparently it's for sure going to happen according to reports, even though they haven't yet, as of recording this podcast, made it official. But if NXT does move to Tuesday nights, where does it leave AEW Dynamite? And more importantly, or actually not really, but just out of curiosity, where does it leave Impact?
Impact goes back to Thursday. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Yeah, Impact has always done well on Thursday since its inception. I don't think they want to try to go head-to-head with NXT and AEW Dark at the same time. I think they want to try to carve out as much of their own little niche as they can. As for where AEW goes from here, I think they just keep putting on the same shows the same quality shows that they've been putting on, just unopposed, as opposed to, trying to potentially counter program against anything that NXT may or may not be doing.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, at Impact, NXT is basically just going to compete with Impact, right? So and Impact is not signed with any TV deals or anything, so they could move their.
They're on Access.
is Access like? Well,
I don't know
guess...
if you have Access in Canada. I'm not gonna lie.
No, we have Access on Canada, but it's like a paid subscription. But
gotcha.
I don't think it's as I can't imagine that it's as tricky as like network television, is it?
No.
Yeah. So
look, the answer to the question is very simple. Impact's going to die. They're going to die because they're going to get killed on a Tuesday night. I think, Chris, you're right. They will have to move to Thursday.
Yeah.
Sorry?
You can't kill Impact. Vince Russo tried for 15 years and didn't pull it off.
Oh, no. If you keep them on Tuesday competing against NXT.
Oh, yeah. If they could try to stay on Tuesday, there's absolutely no way in hell they'll...
Yeah, there's no way in hell.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna have to move. They're gonna have to move for sure. But so what we're gonna have is we're gonna have Raw on Monday. Tuesday is gonna be NXT. Wednesday Dynamite. Thursday Impact. Friday SmackDown. And Monday we're also gonna have this new mystery show, which apparently we don't know when it's going to premiere, but it's gonna be on YouTube. So I'm not entirely sure if that counts. But anyhow, that has been Ricky's rapid fire questions. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the incredible match between Cody Rhodes, Red Velvet, Shaq, and Jade Cargill. We'll be right back.
No, honestly, Tony, you know what? You've known me since I had long hair and a bright future. So we've known each other a long time. And I just want to say how incredibly happy I am to be here at AEW. Thank you. Definitely. Starting out on TNT, and then I get a chance to come back to TNT after all this time. It's an unbelievable honor to be here, and I look forward to working with the amazing talent here in AEW. And you and I have an opportunity to work together, because Tony Schiavone and I will be heading up a new show on AEW called Elevation, where I will get a chance to do a passion of mine and do some great color commentating on some amazing AEW talent. And just so you know that I'm taking my color commentating job seriously, Tony, you're not the only one that gets the big scoops, buddy.
Really? What do you mean?
I have the biggest scoop ever. This Sunday at Evolution, AEW is going to put in contract, a Hall of Fame worthy talent that is a huge surprise and a huge asset to AEW. Yeah, but listen, it's not who you think. But this Sunday, you're gonna find out who it is, and I want you to know that I knew who it was first. Tune in to find out who we get.
All right, that from Paul White, and a big announcement, a major announcement coming up Sunday.
All right, you're back here on Talk AEW. We're going to talk right now about the Cody Rhodes, Red Velvet, Shaq, and Jade Cargill match. So this is the first appearance of Shaquille O'Neal on AEW Dynamite. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is this not the first time he's actually wrestled a match?
No, he's wrestled.
He's been on wrestling shows, but I don't think he's actually wrestled a match.
Wasn't he in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal a couple of years ago?
Right, but I'm talking about like an actual match, not just like, because there's been a lot of people in Battle Royales and Royal Rumbles. Like, let's face it. Like,
yeah, no, I don't think he's actually had a true match.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Send me an email. Leave a message on our post on our website, on YouTube,
Flame
whatever.
us on Twitter.
Anyhow, the point is, Shaq appears, Jade appears, her first appearance. I've been so excited, waiting impatiently for this match. Aaron, I've been like raving about Jade for weeks and weeks and weeks.
You were.
So I already know what I think. I think that this is a great match. I think it over-delivered. I think people expected the worst, and they delivered the best that they could, given the circumstances. I mean, you want to talk about green. Shaq's never been in the ring. She's never been in the ring on TV, that is. And Red Velvet's only appeared in 3 matches on Dynamite and Dark combined.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you got Cody, but whatever. It's 1 versus like 3.
And Cody's injured, supposedly.
And he's injured. So what did you guys think? Am I crazy? Was this not a great match?
It was a good match. I liked it. I was one of the people that was expecting this to be an absolute I don't want to use any words that'll get us in trouble, but I thought it was going to be absolutely horrible. But I thought it was going to be very, very bad, and it was very much not bad at all. I was pleasantly surprised by how well Shaq was moving at 45.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't let him do too much, which is probably a good thing. It was mostly just big power spots, big overhand chops.
Yeah.
And like that one power bomb spot, and then the table spot, and that was about it. Most of the match was Jade and Red Velvet, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, which was smart in the part of how they booked the match. But did you also catch the tribute to
Brodie Lee? Yes, I almost teared up when I saw that, and I didn't think that was going to happen watching a Shaquille O'Neal wrestling match.
Fantastic. I just love the way Shaq actually showed that he can wrestle. He didn't do too much, but he did just enough. I like the way Cody Rhodes sort of like led the match. The only problem I have, not really a problem, but I would have changed it, is I don't think Cody Rhodes should have been able to body slam Shaquille O'Neal so easily, so quickly. Because when I think back to the good old days of WWF and Hulk Hogan having to body slam Andre the Giant, it was like people were anticipating it. It was like the whole match was built up around not like, is Hogan going to win? Is Giant going to win? It's like, can he actually pick him up and body slam this monster?
Yeah. And it's not just that. It's like no one had done it, at least in the WWF. No one had ever done something like that to Andre before. So it was a really, really momentous occasion.
Exactly.
Shaq, it's just...
It's a missed opportunity is what it is now, because they could have built it up where no one's actually picked this guy up. Because, look, I'm sorry, Paul White walked out and Shaquille O'Neal walked out on the very same show, and I was blown away by how big Shaq is. And when I looked at Paul, I was like, he doesn't look that big. And I've seen him in real life, and he is huge, right?
Yeah.
But there's just something about when he appeared, he looked way bigger than Paul White. And I'm not entirely sure, like maybe he is taller, but he looked massive against Red Velvet and Cody Rhodes. And for Cody to easily pick him up and body slam him, I thought that was a huge mistake. I thought that should have been something saved if there is a rematch, where it builds up to this move where, like, can Cody pick him up? Can someone pick him up and body slam him? And then that's when you get the pop from the crowd. You don't just body slam someone. And you know what? I can't wait to listen to Jim Cornette talk about this match, because I'm sure he's going to bitch about the same thing. Anyways,
of course.
Yeah.
Aaron, what did you think?
I thought it was a great match, because like having to listen to Rick like hyping up Jade Cargill for the past 3 weeks, like I'm kind of like in the same boat with Chris. I was really expecting the worst, considering like how green Jade is, and like in how even Cody Rhodes admitted that how green she was. So I didn't expect too much out of the match, but watching Jade Cargill, like her athletic abilities, like really well. She sold like Red Velvet's moves like really well, which I was surprised. So, I mean, it was a great match. It was good. I mean, it was good.
I want to know how much they are paying Jade, because WWE was chasing after Jade. They wanted Jade so bad, and somehow Tony Khan picked her up. And I'm not sure if it's just because she felt more comfortable in the AEW environment, which again doesn't really make sense, because usually people go where the money's at, and WWE is huge. Like, they're huge compared to AEW. I don't care how much money Tony Khan has, you can't compare. So Tony Khan must be paying her big money.
I have one question about Jade. What was she doing before she got into wrestling? Because I know literally nothing about her. I just know that she's tall and that she wrestled last night, and that's my extent of knowledge on her.
So she was a basketball player in the WNBA. She was a basketball player. She's also a personal trainer. And I guess because she plays basketball, that is how she got to know Shaquille O'Neal. I'm not sure if she's his personal trainer or just a personal trainer, but she is a personal trainer. She's been in plenty of, like, I mean, she's an athlete. I think she was like I'm not sure what she did in college and or high school, but, you know, track and field, whatever it is. And she just wanted to get into wrestling. And so she's been training, and apparently because of her physique, her look, her size, a lot of people have been talking about her and a lot of people have been chasing after her, including the WWE. So this is her official first wrestling match in any promotion, not just televised, period. She's only wrestled in wrestling school prior to this match.
Wow.
Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. She did a fantastic job. And it's not just her physical presence, the fact that she's massive compared to most of the women in the roster. It's not just because she can actually wrestle. Like, you know, she's got good technique, be it close to the mat or doing some aerial assaults or pulling like a monster power slam. But it's because she has the charisma and she has the personality. And this is what I talk about each and every single week. I see all of these wrestlers come out every week on Dynamite, on Dark, and they can wrestle. They are amazing wrestlers. There's no denying the talent in the ring, but most of them lack character and personality. And they might be better wrestlers than 90% of the roster back in the 80s, but none of them can sell out an arena like the Ultimate Warrior. And I don't care if the Warrior is a crappy wrestler. That dude had charisma. He was a monster, and he was insane on the microphone. Yeah. Like, the guy was like on crack when he was delivering promos, and I didn't care because I want to watch cracked out Ultimate Warrior deliver his promos. You know what I'm saying? I want to see Jake the Snake and Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage and Dusty Rhodes. And nowadays, everyone's just someone who plays video games or just talks normally. And like the Young Bucks, as good as they are in the ring, they deliver the most boring promos. They're just playing themselves. And I that would be okay for some people in the roster, but when too many people do it, to me, it's not exciting. Like, there's entertainment, and then there's sports. There's wrestling, and then there's the soap opera aspect of it and the characters. And Jade has the character. Like, people make fun of how bad she delivered her promo and her monologue in the first few appearances on Dynamite. And I was like, I don't care how bad it turned out. I thought it was so entertaining. At the end of the day, I was entertained. It was funny. And it's something I talked about for a few days afterwards. I didn't just forget about it. Like, Scorpio Sky on commentary. Like, can I just go to sleep now?
Yeah, that was... If we could just jump straight to that was a train wreck on commentary, because I didn't know if Scorpio was trying to play heel, if he was trying to play babyface.
I think he was
trying to do. And if he turned heel, it's news to me, and I have no idea why he would do it. It's just, I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. It didn't do anything to improve the match quality. It didn't do anything to make me want to see the ladder match this weekend. It was just there, and it was a distraction.
Yeah. And that's why when I think of Jade, when she first appeared, I can't stop laughing about it. She first appears, she walks into the ring. Nobody knows who she is. She walks into the ring. She has this big one-on-one stare with Cody Rhodes. She starts talking smack to him. Again, nobody knows who this lady is because there's no build-up. Like, AEW did a disservice to her. And at the end, it ended up being a blessing because it's such a train wreck that ended up being the most exciting thing about Dynamite in terms of, like, their storytelling. Then she appears on the waiting room. Again, a complete train wreck. Not her fault, but I was just like, I don't care if it's a train wreck. This is so funny to watch. And at the end of the day, she has the charisma and the personality. It's not her to blame. It's the booking, it's the storytelling, and it's the way they've introduced her and the Shaq storyline, which made no sense, by the way. You know, we watched the match between Jade, Shaq, Cody, and Red Velvet, and I still have no idea why they even wrestled. I had no idea why Shaq was even mad at Cody to begin with.
Okay, so Jade is feuding with Cody because she doesn't like Cody, and that got Brandy involved.
She was originally supposed to feud with Brandy Rhodes, though.
Yeah, I'm just trying to piece it all together out loud.
I know what happened. What happened was, I mentioned this on the podcast before. So what happened was, basically, Cody and Shaq had a Twitter feud. And so they just assumed that everybody follows Shaq and Cody on Twitter, and everyone would understand that they had a feud. And therefore, Jade jumped in because she was defending her friend, her man, her mentor, Shaq. She appears on Dynamite, starts talking smack to Cody, Brandy walks out. She's like, no one's gonna talk to my man like that. And then she gets into like the words with like Jade.
Which that was the best part of that whole thing, was just seeing Brandy's promo, because that was actually like really good.
It was the best thing Brandy's ever done on Dynamite, guaranteed. That's not a knock to her. It was just such a great promo.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, so like this is like the first appearance of Jade. I mean, in terms of like first appearances for female wrestlers making this sort of like big statement on a big stage with a big man like Shaq, can you compare her to anyone else in the past in terms of like first appearances? I'm not going to say put her as like one of the greatest female wrestlers of all time, but you know, I'm trying to think back to first appearances. Like Charlotte Flair is sort of like an exception because she's, or anyone for that matter, who's the daughter of a famous wrestler. But Jade is sort of like just some lady that came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I can't say like who's made like such a big impact like on their first appearance. I don't know. I can't say.
I can't think of anyone.
I can't think of anyone.
Paige's main roster debut?
What?
This was like, the thing about this is what's so weird about it is it was like weeks and weeks and weeks of buildup.
Yeah.
And just shrouded in mystery because no one understood it.
Yeah. No one understood it. No one knew if she could wrestle. But I'll tell you what, after like last night, it was just like I want to see more of Jade Cargill.
Yeah. I mean, even if you think about the men wrestlers, okay, so I don't know, like let's just take Jericho because he's an AEW. People listen to this podcast. No AEW. So Jericho back in the days used to wrestle WCW, for example.
Yeah.
He pops on Raw one night, greatest like intro ever for any superstar on Raw, maybe ever on any wrestling promotion. It was just incredible with the promo, his music. Yeah. He appears, the crowd pops, everyone goes nuts. Jericho's here, Jericho's Raw. That is iconic. That is classic. That is one of the greatest moments in wrestling ever. But people still knew Jericho from WCW. People knew Jericho from wrestling in Alberta and Japan and so on and so forth. He was on TV. He was on camera. People would trade VHS tapes and they saw this dude wrestle. Mm-hmm. Jade is like an alien. She came to this planet like yesterday for all we know. No one's ever seen her wrestle. There's no proof that she even existed before Dynamite. You know what I mean? Like, who is she?
There was no way that the hype could have probably like amounted, could have like been at the level that they were hyping her up. So, but like I said, after last night, she definitely delivered.
Yeah,
she lived up to all the hype that AEW has been doing. So she definitely got a great push.
So we're all happy. So I got one last question for you guys before we move on to the next main event. So the match ends. Shaq takes a huge bump, goes through 2 tables courtesy of Cody Rhodes, who jumps over the ropes and lands on him.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Literally dead on the floor for 5 minutes.
Yeah. If you look at the replay, Cody whispers in his ear. I guess he wants to check if Shaq's okay, and then you see Shaq tap his shoulder like a few times, which is a signal to say I'm okay. So we know he's okay. But regardless if he's actually okay, it doesn't matter because in this show, the biggest man on the planet gets taken into the back, put in an ambulance, and then somehow he disappears. They lose the biggest man in the arena. How?
He fell into the pocket dimension that Shaq Fu took place in, and now he is fighting a bunch of martial arts wizards in another dimension in order to do whatever the hell the plot to Shaq Fu was.
Aaron,
yes, it is.
What do you think happened to Shaq? What do you think the storyline here is? Like, what is going on?
I don't know, man. I was just gonna say like he died and rose again.
Well, but this is an important question because are we expecting Shaq to return?
I hope so with the way they leave you on a cliffhanger, but
he has to.
Yeah, I mean, like it's too silly not for them to not to continue that whatever the hell just happened there. So,
like you would think, okay, Shaq disappears. That's got to be a big storyline, exactly. And then they don't bring it up the rest of the show, which is just the most bizarre part of the whole thing. It's just like, oh, Shaq disappeared. Oh, moving on.
I don't know if anyone's going to get this reference, but on my movie podcast, Sort of Cinema, we were talking about this movie called Southland Tales, right? Same director did Donnie Darko. It was his second feature film. He thought he would never make a movie ever again. So he took all of these ideas that he wanted to put into movies and put them all into one movie. So the movie's this gigantic, epic mess. It really makes no sense. By the way, I bring up this movie specifically because The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is in the movie. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. And in an interview, he said, yeah, I just kind of put everything into like this movie because I wasn't sure if I would ever be able to make a movie ever again. So it's like this gigantic mess. Some people hate it. A lot of people love it and think it's like this, cult classic. The point is, when I watch Dynamite, I think of that movie. I think of a writer who doesn't think that Dynamite's going to be on air next week on TV. So they try to include as much as they can into this one episode of Dynamite because none of the storytelling makes any sense. Like, at least in terms of like Jade and Shaq, because like I said, the buildup made no sense. No one understood why anybody was mad at anybody and why Shaq wanted to even fight Cody and who Jade was. And now we finally get Jade and Shaq in the ring. They have this great match, and then Shaq disappears. Like all of a sudden, like what? He's pulling out a Wyatt type of like storyline, or are we to expect the Undertaker? Is this Houdini? Like, what is going on here with the storytelling?
Did someone kidnap Shaq?
I mean, at this point, like Marco Stunt could have kidnapped Shaq for all we know. like the storytelling on Dynamite. Like, I know it's a wrestling show, but like I like it when things are really silly and over the top, and you can't help but laugh. If you're gonna do silly and stupid things that are over the top and weird, at least
follow through.
Fun at it.
Yeah, just follow through or something.
And follow through. Yes, Thank you. Anyhow, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the possibility of the new Four Horsemen. Stay tuned.
Why did we attack Papa Buck? Seriously, okay. I am so sick of all you schmucks out there making Papa Buck out to be some sort of martyr, okay? He recklessly attacked my best friend, Chris Jericho. He did. What we did last week was an act of self-defense. It's true. But the worst part that nobody's talking about is that old worthless sack of crap got his backyard blood all over my brand new custom suit. Now I know you disgusting pores out there can't comprehend how expensive a custom suit is, but just to clue you in, I don't shop at Target and Baby Gap like all of you do. Now, if you thought what we did to Papa Buck was bad, just you wait until we get our hands on malnourished Matthew and not so slick, I wish my hair was way more thick, Nick, this Sunday at Revolution. But hey, it wasn't our idea to attack Papa Buck, was it?
First of all, boys, did y'all really think it was a smart idea bringing your bitch-ass pops down here?
Oh, come on.
Especially knowing there isn't a line that the inner circle wouldn't cross. You boys need to do better. Y'all need to do better.
All right, you're back here on Talk AEW Podcast. Ricky D here with Aaron Santos and guest host Christopher Wright, writer at GoombaStomp.com. Thank you, Chris, once again for joining the show. Here we are. It is the main event. It's not the main event of Dynamite, which made no sense because it could have been a main event. And maybe should have been a main event because I think this might have been the best part of the recent episode of Dynamite. And of course, I'm talking about FTR and Tully versus Jurassic Express. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a huge fan of Jungle Boy and I'm a huge fan of FTR, and Tully Blanchard is a living legend. So how could you not like this match? Even if Marco Stunt showed up, because he bugs me, but it doesn't matter because one Marco Stunt does not outdo Tully, FTR, and Jungle Boy. So guys, there's a lot of things I want to talk about here. First of all, just the match itself. Did you guys like the match?
Sort of.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Fair. Aaron?
I didn't mind the match. It was pretty good. I mean, like there was definitely a very nasty spot where Dax Harwood like power slams Jungle Boy onto like concrete. So it had some good spots.
There seems to always be a scary spot every week on Dynamite. What I do like about the match itself is, again, huge fan of Jungle Boy. I think this kid has a huge future as being like the face of the company.
Mm-hmm.
It helps that he's the son of a famous actor. Rest in peace, Luke Perry. You are awesome. He looked fantastic once again in the match. He was getting his ass kicked, but he was also taking the ass kicking and kicking ass at the same time. He was reversing moves. He put Dax in, I think it was Dax. He put him in a submission hold in the ring, and then again right away outside of the ring.
Yeah,
he
the snare trap.
was pulling aerial assaults from the top rope. He was just fantastic, full of charisma. And of course, he walks out with the fantastic theme song, maybe possibly the best theme song right now in Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Definitely.
you have Tully walks out wearing his robe. By the way, FTR, they have the original, I think it's the original belts, right?
There were the tag belts from, I forgot which promotion.
From
they were
NWA,
from,
no?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I think so. Anyways, they walk out. JJ Dillon's there. The match itself is pretty good. And then at the end, we get the big surprise. Shawn Spears, who has been missing in action for about 8 weeks, if not longer. He shows up. I think the last time we saw Shawn Spears, it was like the best. It was the best moment of Dark. It was Scorpio Sky threw him through a wall during an episode of The Waiting Room. He went through the wall. It was so funny. And that was the last time we saw Shawn Spears. He's back. New
I
haircut.
thought he appeared on Dynamite to announce that he was going away.
Oh, did he? Okay, that's the last time I remember seeing him. So anyway,
Either way,
he's back. He's got blonde hair, different haircut, sort of.
no beard.
No beard.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll tell you why I like this match really quick, and then you guys can chime in. So first of all, I like the match because it helps build Jungle Boy as a superstar. It also shows that FTR is the best tag team in wrestling right now. So, sorry, apologies to Matt and Nick. I just think that they're better. I just think that they know how to actually control a match, and they know how to work the pacing of a match, and they know the weakness and the strengths of their opponents, and they know what to do and what not to do, and it just seems realistic and like old school wrestling. I love it. You got Tully. He's awesome. I know he's like in his 60s, I think, if not older.
Yes.
You know, he could still pull off some moves. He pulled off a few of his classic moves from back in the days. And then you had the big surprise with Shawn Spears. But I kind of felt like they were building to the rebirth of, or new generation of the Four Horsemen. And you had Arn walk out at the end. And correct me if I'm wrong, did he not give the Four Horsemen symbol?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Did.
So I think, and I know this is crazy talk because it's blasphemous, but makes sense in terms of like storytelling. I think Cody could be part of this faction, and we got ourselves the Four Horsemen, and Cody Rhodes is the leader. And I know that's blasphemous because he's the son of Dusty Rhodes, the common man. But you know what? He's not Dusty. He's Dusty's son.
Cody Rhodes just is so much better as a heel than as a babyface. And I say that knowing that in 2019, Cody Rhodes was the hottest act in all of professional wrestling in any promotion as a babyface. And I loved every second of it, but goddamn, if I had to choose between babyface Cody coming out and doing the same worn out shtick every single week, or him turning heel and being just the biggest SOB that there's ever been, leading the Horsemen and winning whatever the hell he wants to, then yeah, I'm going to take heel Cody every single time.
No, I agree. Because like, see, I think it would be great to see heel Cody, because like as great as it was seeing Cody, like, you know, wearing his heart on his sleeve, you know, and having some tearjerker moments, like, I get it. Like he's like super babyface in AEW, but to the point that sometimes it can be like a bit to like his detriment. So,
I mean, I understand what people are saying, but about how it's being, or how people would think it's blasphemous. Like you can't do that. But Cody is not Dusty. Dusty was the common man. That's what people loved about Dusty Rhodes, right?
Mm.
Cody is his son. He grew up in the wrestling biz. He grew up rich with a silver spoon in his mouth.
Like, Dusty's the son of a plumber. Cody Rhodes is the son of a worldwide, globally known wrestling all-star, like, all-time legend. Like,
which is why it makes
two
sense,
entirely
right?
different worlds.
It makes sense in terms of, like, storytelling, because, you know, that, like, I'm sorry, like, when people compare wrestling to soap operas, if you want to talk about great storylines in soap operas, it's like you have someone who turns on their family And usually it's like, someone wealthy and whatever, rich and whatever, but they will turn on their family regardless. And I kind of feel like this is what this is. And I think with Brandy, here's the thing, is I think because Brandy's out of the picture, it's easier for Cody Rhodes to turn heel because he doesn't have to worry about what to do with his wife, who, no offense, did not work as a heel.
In fairness to that Brandy Rhodes story, it wasn't as much she's not good as a heel, it's that story was complete garbage.
Yeah, I think we said that was the worst storyline ever on Dynamite when we gave out our awards, like at the beginning of the year.
And that sucks for me because I freaking love Awesome Kong.
What, refresh my memory, what exactly happened to Awesome Kong?
I believe she got injured.
Right.
And then the pandemic happened, she just decided not to come back.
Okay.
Or she had to shoot something, or something came up and she was just like, nah, I'm good.
Okay, let's say I'm wrong. I could be wrong, because every time I dream big, wrestling has to disappoint me, right? Like CM Punk appearing on Dynamite, and it's probably going to be like Enzo, like you said. But say I'm wrong again. Who like they are clearly setting up a Four Horseman storyline. I think it's obvious. I don't think I'm pulling this out of my ass. I think it's all there in front of us when we watch wrestling and watch Dynamite week after week, especially with Shawn Spears coming, and they keep referring to the symbol. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, Tully can't be the fourth horseman. I mean, he technically can, but it doesn't make sense. He's too old. Like, they need four wrestlers.
Well, they definitely need to they definitely need to like pass down the torch, right? If they're gonna do this Four Horsemen like revival.
So who can it be? It could be the secret person, the secret mystery man, or there could be two mystery men.
I mean, it for sure. It's gonna have to be like FTR. I mean, they're under Tully Blanchard.
We know it's FTR and Shawn Spears. I'm saying, who's the fourth?
I'm trying to think.
Aaron, here's the thing. So we're leading to pay-per-view. This is how this match ended, and it ended specifically with the visual of Arn Anderson. He did the Four Horsemen symbol.
Yeah,
right?
He does the Four Horsemen symbol.
So, but there's only three. There's again, I know Dylan's in the ring. I know Tully's in the ring. They don't count in my book. They're not wrestlers these days. They're just managers. And so, who could be the fourth? It could be the surprise guest, the surprise signing.
Well, you could have Brian Pillman Jr.
I mean, no, I don't think they would break up the Varsity Blondes just for that.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing too. Like, but if we're gonna talk about like who could, I really don't know, to be honest.
They already threw away the Hangman Page angle months ago, so it's not going to be him. So the only person that I think would logically make sense would be Cody.
That's what I think too, but I feel like it's too good to be true.
You gotta put Cody, man, because like under Arn Anderson's tutelage, it just seems like the smartest way to go.
Yeah.
If I'm right, which would be amazing, and Cody is the fourth horseman and he would be the leader, I would assume. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? They're gonna have two managers, Arn and Tully? What happens to JJ Dillon?
I think JJ Dillon, that was just a one-time thing. I mean, he's like 80 something, so I don't think he's going to be a regular.
Half the roster on half the roster on Dynamite right now is senior citizens.
You have Dean Malenko too. What is he doing in the background?
Dean Malenko, oh my god, it's true.
I think Dean's just happily retired. I think he's just happy to have a job right now where he can just be an agent, not have to worry about too damn much.
Mm-hmm.
I see. The thing is, the problem here. Say, there's a few problems with Cody. So first of all, there's Brandy. I know she's having a baby. Maybe she won't come back anytime soon, or ever come back. Who knows? There's the Nightmare Family. What would you do with the Nightmare Family? And there's Arn Anderson, because like, would they really need two managers? That's just weird. Have we ever had two managers for one faction? I know, like Yokozuna had.
Yes.
Yokozuna had Cornette, and they had the Mr. Fuji at one point in time. But which faction?
Harlem Heat had Colonel Parker and Sensational Sherry.
Oh, right, Sherry. But that was different. It was a woman and a man. This is like two dudes.
It's more or less the same.
I can't think of anyone else. There's lots of people who I think would work well. I just don't think it makes sense in terms of like how to tell a good story. The thing is, at Revolution, Cody's Wait, is Cody in a match? Is he in the?
He's in the ladder match.
Ladder
Yeah,
match,
he's in the
right?
ladder match.
He was the first person they announced for the ladder match.
Right.
Mhm.
So there is a mystery man still left for the ladder match.
Yes, there is.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess we can end the podcast by talking about that because that might answer our question. So Cody's in a ladder match. Who else is FTR in a match?
It's Cody, Scorpio Sky,
Lance Archer.
Lance Archer, Pentagon, or Penta El Zero Muerte, my bad. And who won the match last night? It was Caster, right?
Caster and Pac.
Okay.
So
Now they
there's
didn't announce
Pac.
Pac. Pac's not in the match.
No, Pac is not in the match.
No?
No.
Oh, okay. So
That was the squash match, remember?
that was right. Okay, so
It's just those 5 right now.
Yeah, it's those 5. So there's
So-
one more that we don't know about. Well, because I was messaging like Rick earlier saying that there was no announced 6th person, and Tony Khan has mentioned on Wrestling Observer Live that the 6th person was going to be a surprise for Sunday.
okay, I'm just trying to figure out, and I guess we're going to find out in a few days. I'm just trying to figure out if we're going to have 2 big surprises at Revolution, meaning the big signing that Big Show Paul White was talking about, plus someone appearing in the ladder match.
Tony Khan on the Unrestricted podcast said specifically that the big signing Big Show or Paul White was talking about and the 6th man in the ladder match are 2 different people.
There
He
you go.
specifically made that point. So yes, it is going to be 2 different surprises. It's just a matter of who.
Okay, I'm sorry. CM Punk is showing up at Revolution.
He's going to be in the ladder match.
He's going to be in the ladder match. It's got to be.
Dude, that's going to be sick though. But yeah.
Oh, that would be insane. I would
That would be insane.
freak the hell out, but I don't see it happening.
You see, the thing about Cena, the reason why I say it's impossible he'll appear in Dynamite, first of all, Cena gets paid a lot of money still. He's still doing things for WWE. He shows
Yeah, I
up.
think he's still under contract with WWE, more or less.
He just did a promo for WrestleMania. Like
Yeah,
last
he's doing the
month.
promos for WrestleMania. Exactly. He might not be wrestling at WrestleMania, but he's still promoting it. He's still behind the scenes.
Mhm.
Guys like Triple H, like these guys will never leave The Rock. But CM Punk, it's a possibility. Like, the thing about Brock Lesnar, when you think about Brock Lesnar, he's a possibility too, because Brock
That's
Lesnar,
true. I did think about that too. Brock Lesnar is a possibility.
he's for sure a possibility. Like, Brock Lesnar shot up to the top of the WWE faster than any superstar, and then he just got up and left Vince McMahon. So he has no loyalty to McMahon, because McMahon did everything for Brock.
Yeah.
And he just got up and left. So he's someone I can actually see appearing. But you know what? I never thought that the Big Show, Paul White, would actually appear on a different promotion. Like, I know he used to wrestle at WCW and he has a connection to TNT, and I'm sure Tony Khan paid him a shit ton of money.
Mhm.
But I just never thought I would see him on a different promotion. I guess he went where the money is, right? All right, well, we got about 3 minutes. So how about I ask you guys really quick? I don't want to spend too much time on this because the pay-per-view is like in a few days, but predictions, apart from like who the mystery men can be, which we already talked about, do you have any predictions, any surprises, any sort of like hot takes?
Kenya retains, Young Bucks retains, Sheeta retains. Whoever the 6th man is not going to win the ladder match. I think that's probably going to be I want to say Pentagon.
Okay.
Tag team battle royals probably going to be some team in the Dark Order. Don't ask me which one. I don't know, but it will be one of them. Other than that, I got nothing.
Aaron?
Well, I liked all of Chris's selection, but I do think that we're gonna get a title change between the Young Bucks and MJF and Chris Jericho. I think they're gonna win the tag team championship.
Kenny Omega is going to win, I agree, and it's going to be the end of Moxley's journey. He'll come back eventually, but he's going to take some time off, and I think mostly because his wife is having a baby, and he needs some time off, and it's going to be a great way or a terrible way for him to leave with the exploding barbed wire death match, which, by the way, I'm still not at all excited to see. I just don't really care. Well, hopefully it'll be good, but I have my
think it'll be
reservations.
good. Yeah.
I'm jazzed up about it. I would love to see something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just don't want to get too hyped up because I'm scared. We'll see. We'll see. Okay.
Yeah, that's the point.
I hope I'm wrong. Anyways, regarding the ladder match, I actually think it's going to be Sammy. Sammy's going to walk in. Sammy Guevara. He's the best. He's going to walk
if
in.
Sammy's the sixth man, I'm going to absolutely lose my shit.
He's going to walk in, he's going to win, and he's going to get this title shot against Darby Allin, who, by the way, him and Darby had a fantastic match at pay-per-view. Was it All Out? I can't remember which one it was last year. Anyways.
I think it was Double or Nothing last year, maybe, possibly.
Sheeta's for sure going to keep the belt. Sorry, Ryu, it's not happening. So the street fight's going to be interesting. I think, look, I don't... I think Darby Allin and Sting are going to win. I'm just curious how they will win because they're going up against Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, and Sting's like 60-something years old, and Darby Allin weighs like 10 pounds. So he's my favorite wrestler, by the way. I make fun of him, but but I think they're going to win. But the only match I'm not sure about though is the tag team match because a part of me thinks that Jericho and MJF have to win, and they're going to win by cheating.
Yep.
And I wouldn't be surprised because I think the Young Bucks are still limping and they're injured. So maybe they need some time off. But it's like one. It can see Sammy can appear in this match and interfere, or he could just appear in a ladder match and do his own thing and be his own man. I would rather Sammy just go on his own journey and have his own storyline as opposed to just like continuing the feud with the Inner Circle. That can come later in life.
I almost feel like he has to interfere in the tag team title match because I feel like they're building for MJF versus Sammy Guevara at some point, and you have to start building that now because Double or Nothing's in 2 months?
If MJF and Jericho lose, they have to lose with a good reason, like someone interferes or I don't know what it is, like a count out or something.
Yeah,
they can't straight up lose by getting pinned. No offense to the Young Bucks, they're like considered the greatest tag team in the world. But
Jericho can need a pin.
I mean, Jericho's lost. He's put a lot of people over. He's lost to Cassidy. He almost lost. Oh no, he lasted 10 minutes with Jungle Boy. Jericho's the kind of wrestler who will lose a match to put someone over.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes sense to make MJF lose. Is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah. I think if they do a clean finish, it is only because MJF walks out on the match for whatever reason.
There is the buy-in tag team match for anyone who cares. Riho and Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker and Reba, which I think is going to be fantastic. And I think Riho and Thunder Rosa are going to win.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. From what I can tell, Rebel is working injured, so she might not even make the match.
Oh, that would suck. And I hope to God the Miro and Kip Sabian versus Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy. I hope this is the end of this whole Miro storyline.
This needs to end, and it needs to end. Well, no, they have to bring this back eventually because Trent's going to come back, and he's probably going to want revenge whenever the hell that's going to be.
And the last thing I'm going to disagree with is the Casino Tag Team Battle Royale. It's going to be Private Party who wins.
Have they had their Impact Tag Title match yet?
Yeah, that's already passed.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing about Private Party, to turn them heel, they need to get them to a championship match. So they're gonna win, and that is why it is possible that the Young Bucks retain the titles, because it wouldn't make sense to put two heels, Private Party versus Jericho and MJF. But we'll see. Sammy's going to appear at the pay-per-view. Guaranteed he's going to get a huge pop. If I can choose, I would love to have Sammy come back and still have two brand new wrestlers appear, like CM Punk and Brock Lesnar. And then people will lose their mind. And the next week, I guarantee you, AEW Dynamite will get the 1 million viewers that they are looking for.
If CM Punk or Brock Lesnar shows up, man, all we're gonna be doing on the next podcast is screaming.
Yeah, more or less. Like, there's.
All right. Well, that has been yet again one more episode in the can of the Talk AEW podcast. Chris, where can people find you online?
If you want to bug me, you can get me on Twitter at ChrisXWright. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, where I post just the most NA nonsense you'll ever see in your life, you can follow me at Chris_X_Right.
Can never get into Instagram, but a lot of people like it. Aaron, you want to plug anything or?
No, please don't bug me.
All right, so you can find the official Twitter handle for Talk AEW, and it is the Talk AEW Podcast is the Twitter handle. And of course, our podcast can be found everywhere online, from YouTube to iTunes, Spotify to Podbean to you name it. You can find the archive, every single one of our posts, all the links, all the information, etc., over at goombastomp.com. Once again, Mariko McDonald, our lovely host, will be back next week. I hope to God, because I hate leading the show, guys. But she will be back next week. We're going to talk about Revolution, the pay-per-view. And Chris, you got to come back on again sometime soon so we can have you back on. And maybe
I would love to.
Yeah, definitely. All right, awesome. All right, thank you very much, everyone. If you like what we do, leave us a rating, shoot us a message on Twitter, or leave a comment on our Facebook. Thank you for listening.